this working. There we go. Alright. We'll do another Slipways. Standard run. Let's go ahead and start. Alright, this time we have an easier sector. Where did we're going to be playing on a high birth rate and beautiful sights. So, what does that do? We get additional humans when we give colonies both goods and food, and potentially the other thing some of the lesser colonies need. As well as beautiful sites which can give us some additional happiness on certain places if we settle people on them, which, you know, it does stack with each other, so we can get both of those things. We have to pay a total of 10% score for these. That's one thing. We're going to choose our random races and perks. We get experimental tech, which gives us access to some free relays at the start, as well as novelty traders, which allows remnant plants to be used to make goods, which can be quite nice. They work just as regular remnant plants do, so they'll need people and water to do so. Let me close some things here. Some things open at the same time. Okay. And the races we're going to be playing with are the Bakar, the Silthid, and the Aphorians. It's also a good idea to look at some of the tech we've got available. There's quite a bit of really fascinating late game stuff that we got here, right? Void synthesizers, which we've only used once, but turned out to be quite valuable then. Post scarcity to make legendary plants, if so inclined. Sleep replacement, which is quite the moneymaker. Both flexible fabrication and integrated manufacturing, both of which allow you to use plants for more types of resources, which can be quite good. Both replicating nanites and space-time inversion give us a lot of options to make use of more time, but no real way of making additional points of science. So any sort of science will have to be hard built because we don't have access to the Vattori. For the early game stuff, we have access to both freeze-resistant bots and xenotourism, giving us two decent ways to make money using planets. Or alternatively, graphitic mining, although, you know, we do not have prospectors, unfortunately, so it won't be as good as it can potentially be. And then there are some additional mining technologies for the Bakar here with drill bots and asteroid mining. Unfortunately, there are no microforges available to us, so those mines will likely not be very good because it's hard to use that much ore, really. You don't really need that much extra, but sometimes it can be good, depending what we find. I have found, though, that trying to rely on lots of mines and forge worlds is not really a good strategy because you tend to not make enough money if you try to do so. It's much better to try and make prosperous worlds than it is to build lots of worlds. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at our starting location. I kind of let my keyboard collapse. Not the most ideal thing. So, our starting location is a bit devoid of many strong signals. We can see that especially on the top here, there are quite a few small ones. It might be instructive to then try to sort of go for this area down here. Which then would allow me to... Can I like resize you? Thank you. Which would then allow me to... yeah. Okay. Allow me to get likelihood of more plants. Now, the Bakar here can give us missions that require you to discover plants, so it's a good idea to try to get a selection of things that give you 2x trades, excuse me, right at the start. Now, this sort of setup over here results in these two potentially blocking access for this particular connection. So perhaps this would be a better scan in that respect. Like if we get the 3 correct planets, right, we can sort of start with just a single scan. Like sometimes you can just do that. And that can save you quite a bit of time and money. Also, you're getting a better first year. Let's go ahead and have a look. Okay, so is there a way we can finagle this? Well, it's hard to tell what we want to build here, right? Because there's like 4 different resources now that we can build on these. Artifact trading is, you know, quite the spinner here. There's a jungle there, which again, you know, tourism's available, right? It's hard to tell what we want to build on these planets for that particular reason. Given that, you know, it kind of depends on what's around it, really. There are no real easy answers. I mean, you could do something like this, right? And be like, okay, you know, we'll go with that. But it's hard to tell if that was correct if we don't find biomatter here, for example. This one will have a hard time getting water. And yeah, we've solved this colony over here, but I don't even know if I want a colony. Maybe I want a tourism world there, right? Or maybe I want something like food over here, right? It's really tough to tell for now. So why don't we go ahead and get some more information? And what would be... I think this might be a good one. Though it wouldn't actually... It would be 4 things though. Alright, so this is a little bit more sensible in respect of, oh, hey, you know, there aren't that many things we can do with this sort of thing setup, right? That would be an option, right? And then, you know, perhaps this. But what would you do, right? So another option would be something like this, right? But again, like it needs food, right? And if I were to make this a colony, which, you know, this is quite the location for one, then it would need food. So again, we're in a bit of a pickle with regards to information. Yeah, this doesn't really help us in a major way. In fact, it kind of makes things maybe even worse in the sense that I guess we should do this now, right? To have this goods plant have 2 inputs. But this still isn't a good way to make food. But a colony here is now very likely because there are 2 things here that want humans. And there's no real way of giving them humans reliably without either, you know, gambling on there being some kind of colony world behind here, which, you know, isn't unlikely. But it's not insanely likely either. Would we be able to use this biomatter in another location? Sure, right, we would be able to make a farm that could use it, or maybe a laboratory that could use it, or some other sort of thing. This Arctic wants biomatter in many cases. You could also build water here, which again, you know, building water here, you might be like, well, what does that do? Well, all these planets will require water. The thing is, though, that this ice ball's in the way. It would be anyway, though. So this is also an option. Giving us the ability to set up water in this place. And perhaps here too, and build a water laboratory, right? It's hard to tell, right? Now, we do have freeze-resistant bots as well, though. Which, if done here, would give us additional water. And, you know, you could get more here as well. Now we could sort of put a water laboratory right near the black hole with 3 things inputting into it. And more importantly, right, for this kind of setup, is that you have good destinations for all your water. What will we do with this forge world? I do not yet know then, right? Probably make some goods, but for whom, right? For people that are going to be behind this. So one thing you can do, though, and since we probably know that we want robots here, is to build the robots first instead of the 2-way trade. That costs a bit of money, actually quite a bit of money. It's 3 a year, and you know, it's not going to do much for now. And we can find out whether or not we want them or not by scouting to the right after settling. And then you would be able to choose, you know, colony or farm or thawing facility. Probably between colony and thawing facility, I would imagine. There's not really a desire either way. Colony would make more sense, I guess. It kind of depends on food, right? I guess the alternative would be to scout here and see if we can't find food. If there is no food, then it should be for thawing facility anyway. I mean, that does reach as well. As with that. Right, so like this one. It does make sense, doesn't it? So here's the interesting part. This right here has beautiful sights on it, which makes it quite the attractive prospect for a place to make people. Then we would want to make a farm here. Would we? I mean, maybe somewhere else, right? But people here. And that could be a start. Beautiful sights gives us an additional 2 happiness whenever we use it. So, you know. And then we would want to make some ore. Well, we could make that here, for example, right? And then, you know, we could make the goods over there. Or the other way around. Either way, right? Although the better choice would probably be the ore over here because there's another source there. And, you know, there's some potential to build some kind of laboratory out of it. To some extent. It makes some sense, doesn't it? And then perhaps, you know, that would be a decent idea, and then that, and then that, right? And then, you know, the human could perhaps come from here. This at least provides a full solution, or nearly full solution, giving us, you know, some time hanging here. And it's also not too expensive with regards to the length of the slipway. And we also are building around this asteroid over here, which might be a good idea with regards to money on top. Okay, so why don't I put up my 2-way trade? Right. And then in the final month of the year, I guess we sort of scout around here-ish. I guess these 3 would make the most sense. Because we can get 4 here. I want to know what side I want to build my food on. And it turns out that this side is just no bueno. So it has to be on over here. This is the unfortunate part of doing things like the way we did, with like lots of scans and things. We only built 2 plants and we scanned like 4 times. We kind of scanned too much. Because now we have to discover plants of the Bakar. I mean, we can do so anyway. We can also try to make a forge world successful, which actually the only one we can make is this one. We could make chips, but we wanted to make robots, and if we do, we need chips, and those chips are going to be incredibly hard to get for us right now. So this is not a good option. Right? There are lots of forge worlds here, but we don't really have a plan to make them all successful. We do, however, have a plan to make 2 goods, so let's go do that, and let's go discover some planets afterwards. First off, though, let's get this colony up and running, because it's, you know, quite the money spinner if you do. Go ahead and send in some food. Making this go up a little further too, still. Then we can make the goods that we wanted. And those can form a 2-way trade, giving us the foreign mission. As well as, you know, it can make this. Now, the better idea would be to first, though, send in the bots, because otherwise we would end up having to pay the upkeep for this planet and not being able to use it very well. This gets us an additional 1 credit compared to the other method. Oof, it kind of lagged a bit there. Alright, so this additional credits should allow us to form. Now, we've got loads of spare humans. Right, what do we do with them? I do not yet know. For now, though, since we've got this whole loop, you know, sort of going, let's go ahead and see if we can't find some things to do. Alright, this is not bad. There is an asteroid here that's available for us to utilize. There's also a good argument to be made for freeze-resistant bots, right? We can already tell that there are quite a few locations where they would be quite good. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab these 3 strong signals next. And we want to get to those 7. That's, you know, quite a quick way of getting there. Hopefully one more scan will do it if we can find a good location. I don't really know there is any that's super good. I guess these 4 will do. We're still gonna need another one. Right then. Have it your way, Bakar. We want to unlock the new tasks, basically. Explore the designated area? Where do you want us to go? That's quite far away, isn't it? We could try for it, but I don't think it's a good idea. Establishing some trade routes and making some chips seems like a better, simpler task to do. And it's more on the lines of what I want to do at this point, because we have kind of like, you know, plenty of planets available to do stuff with at this point. Do you want to make some chips? Yeah, sure, right. But, you know, we can't really obstruct it here, but maybe there's some other locations where we can do this. I want to see what's up over here. Okay, I'm definitely going to take the tourist attraction here. We're kind of out of money. Now, this is a great idea because it makes quite a bit. It's 7, yeah. We have to pay 3 upkeep, but we get additional people. We can also upgrade this potentially by sending in more people to make more money. You can get up to 3. But even just the 1 makes it, you know, okay-ish. Especially if you have a colony like this one where you can't really do anything with all the humans you have. Because there's like not enough stuff around here, right? We've also got an extra human as well from our sector condition, right, of high birth rate, which usually actually is more of a disadvantage than anything because, you know, there's something called unemployment. We can't really use that extra human for much at all. So, yeah. That is the main issue. Now, what do we want to do over here, right? There's lots of plants here, lots of opportunities to make stuff work. Now, you could make a chip later on to produce additional robots. You have a robot available to make food with, and we potentially also have goods available, which would make for quite a good xenotourism world, right? So, for example, this jungle over here could do the trick. If we had some people for it as well. So what if we farm the earth? Well, it wouldn't really get many biomatter, right? We could farm the ocean, right? But then building humans here would mean we get cut off from goods. So it's not a great idea. We could build the colony here and then, you know, do that. And then the earth like could be the farm. Going around like that. And we get some additional minerals for this as well. But then the robot gets cut off over here, right? We don't really have much opportunities later to fix things. Unless we want to go with relays and hyperlanes and things. So we would be cutting off the robot. Not such a huge deal though, right? Still a bit unfortunate though. Of course, right, this would be the intention. And then, I mean, I guess, right, water over here would make a lot of sense as well. Although I wouldn't know where we would get the additional robot from is the problem again, right? So this tight-knit little circle of plants will give us quite the boost. Those are all very cheap to construct, right? With the exception of this colony. Still forms another two-way trade here. I wouldn't know what to do with the extra food though, right? We get all of this extra food we can't really use. What if we use the ice ball for food, right? I mean, you can't reach it. That's the problem, is one too much. You can't quite reach that either. Do I want to potentially get some different source of food? Yeah, maybe, right? Like, what if I did this, right? Then I can make a colony here, which I can use at least one human from immediately. But having not much use for the other humans means it won't be a great colony at all. I could also make a Gaia world which allows me to use the water immediately, getting us more ore. That ore could be used over here, right? We could make goods out of it or something. That would work. And you know, it would give us this asteroid. But these connections are very expensive. We don't have that kind of money, really. And this is way 18 that we could get, but it's not quite what you want. You kind of want short and sweet connections, right? Rather than long and expensive ones. Of course, you know, the other problem with this sort of setup is that we kind of cut off the ability of this ocean to get ore easily. So I guess we're kind of forced into an aggro world here. Not that that's particularly bad. That's quite a good sort of setup. So, you know, we're getting towards these resources. Once we do, we get 80 credits, and then we'll be out of monetary problems for quite a while. Which sort of would be the goal. Should I explore once? I think I should, because this only costs us 1, right? But I don't think we'll be... I think we'll be able to make up for that. I think I want to try to not explore and try to get this to the 7 without doing so. Are we capable of doing so? Well, definitely. I mean, there's like 2 resources there already, and then we can get goods over as well, which gets us to 5 at that point. Now we can get some green for you, which would be 6. I mean, at that point, I guess we need 1 more scan, I suppose, right? Yeah, I guess, right. Right, so this is another option, right? Not as good, I think, though. Let's go ahead and settle you. Go ahead and get a mine as well. Although that would give us to an increase in size, right? So we go down from 28 to 18. But because of all the two-way trades, we'll go back up to 31 immediately. I don't think that's a super big problem. So, you know, this is a fairly neat setup that uses most of the resources it generates. The only problem is, you know, the lack of chips here. Once we get the ability to make integrated manufacturing, this will take off though, because it has options to make water with freeze-resistant bots as well on both sides, which will allow to use up to 4 bots, which is, you know, a prosperous world, which it is likely to become because there's like 2 successfuls here. Then the only thing we're really needing is like biomatter and like a use for the food here, I suppose, right? Or on the other side, either way. There is an opportunity to build biomatter here, but then, you know, where would it send its second food to? That's a bit of a problem. The way this looks great. So we got 4 out of 7 right now. I don't know if there's another way to get more. Goods would be a decent pick, I guess. I suppose. I think I'm okay using this asteroid or this one. Maybe not this one. But that forge world doesn't seem like a world I'll want to upgrade very reasonably quickly. And then I guess we'll be using artifact trading. I mean, it's very expensive, right? Isn't this a much cheaper thing to build? It kind of is. Let's have a look then. Still. Ah, yes. We found a better way to do this stuff. Now, is there a... I think there might be an argument for scrap chip. Human? Again, like, you know, it connects all these things, right? Do we get economic zones or something like that? We don't. Yeah, the extra chip, though, there's a lot of chips needed for the mission. So this kind of thing does help. I don't know if it's the best, though, because this sort of, like, negates the ability to get goods, right? In a lot of places. Which would be quite valuable. On the other hand, you know, we do have this available eventually. Flexible fabrication will solve things. So it's not necessary to make goods right now. Plus, you know, getting the mission done. That's a nice part about this, right? We have many options. We can use remnants as either ore or goods or bots or many things. There's also mechanized harvest available though. And, you know, that might lead to wanting to use it for bots instead. Getting us water in here. I don't know how good that is. There's like so many options, right? But, I mean, what we really wanted though was the ability to make a good tourist world, which this would make really good. Let's have a look down here as well. This would make for an insane tourist world. Also interested in not going too far up, so we can build some science on time. We've been neglecting it a little bit. But now let's build that because, you know, look at the amount of people suddenly. And then this can be used here, that can be used here, right? We would build another robot there. So we'd be interested in making some water. And some green stuff, I suppose. I guess we build some green stuff here, right? We want to get to 7. Yeah, green would be another resource we don't have yet. And that solves you, so you know, no more unhappy plant in the corner of the empire. Well, there's one here, right? But that's, you know, something we just have to deal with for now. And then, I mean, I guess we can found this as well, right? I'm sort of lacking in a good way to make research, right? There's no real area where we have lots of people available, but there's no real area where we want to, like, I wanted to like solve this for, you know, tourism. So like, where do we go ahead and, you know, get a good research opportunity? There really isn't much to be had right now, right? Once we get the freeze resistant bots, there might be some. Well, we kind of block this area off, right? Sort of like this water lab we had in mind is not really going to happen because of the biomatter problem otherwise. Still think it was a decent idea to do all this stuff. This farm doesn't have a second output though, so it will never become more than this for now. I mean, maybe it will get some when we get relays or something like that. Let's go ahead and have a look around here, see if we can get something to lab over here. Yeah, I mean, I could colonize you. I could also maybe colonize here. Right, well, we can't colonize in this direction. Since this requires a human, that basically just guarantees that this is going to be a colony. Let's go ahead and consume this, actually. I want to try to use my time efficiently. And then I guess we'll skip the final 1 month. So now you would want to get a colony up here. So the thing really is, how do we scale this up? Can we look behind here, see if there's nothing available here? Well, I would have loved this colony, but I don't think we can get it anymore at this point. Yeah, maybe, right? Some water over here, some humans over there. That makes sense, right? And some food over there, right? Still no real, like, double things, though. I guess maybe some ore, right? Could be the answer. We can get an additional one over here. If I have a look. Oh, yeah, also we have these, right? Available. Slip relays at the start. We could use those to make a lab in some way. Maybe I should have used those to send food to places, right? We can send this food out, for example, to this place over here. With one of those slipway relays, it wouldn't get the sideball out of the way, so we would have to well, that's expensive though if you wanted to go all the way around. But it would give an opportunity to make this plant successful, right? Via sending in biomatter and then sending the food out. That'd be okay. It would preclude water in here though, which is why I'm sort of hesitant to do that. There are some other things we could do. One other thing we could do though is like this connection, right, with a relay. Relays can just be used to make something go, and that does seem very enticing. The chip is annoying, but we'll just go ahead and do this, I think. Make a two-way trade. Get, 80 money. Just 2 more chips, right? I could also just make a bunch of chips, to be honest. And this doesn't connect, but it does connect with a relay. And we can later on like get more chips out of all of these ore worlds. And we could perhaps put an ore lab on the other side. Is that too bad? We'll make use of both of our relays this way. One to make this angle work. It would otherwise be obtuse. We would be foregoing this sort of great plan for a really good tourist world though. So am I super happy about it? Not really, but we can still make it work later on too. So yeah, the plan would be to go ahead and send this into a corner. Send the chip in. You get 2 chips. And the person get only 3 science out of it. That's the thing, right? It's not even all that amazing. I mean, we could just do this and then get the mission done and float this for a bit. It's quite expensive to run though. It might be a better deal than trying to do the nonsense that we're doing. Like, I'm much happier making more ore though, right? Like this makes a lot more sense for now. And then, that. I wish I had more flexible fabrication so we didn't need to do this chip, but yeah, I think that makes more sense. So go ahead and make this, because the Bakara might have a mission for us to make ore. They usually do. Right, we're floating this planet out of nowhere. Look at that, get some ore producing plants successful though, so it's not necessarily make more ore. But it's a thing we want to do anyway. Right? Because all we need to do is get some water in for that. And we'll establish more trade routes, right? That's always a decent one. So for now we're interested in making some labs work and all that sort of thing. Well, the two-way trades over there are not bad, right? So now let's also go ahead and put you in. All right. This gets us access to the other human that I wanted. Which can be used to make more ore. And now the idea would be to try to sneak in a lab just over here. Right, that'll do. Yeah, we do have to pay for its upkeep, which is 5, which is quite a bit. Is there a good way to not have to do so immediately? There's also like this connection that I might want to make to unlock additional. Like, is there a way to get all the things? don't think there is, right? Because it has to go too far right. So is it necessary to have all these additional humans available? Kinda, it's kind of nice. It's not necessarily right now, though. The thing is that the relay only costs 1. That's the beautiful part about it. We could also pre-connect this, right? This costs 0 to basically do. And the moment we get freezers and bolts, it gets like very nice. In fact, we might want to use a relay here, like over here or something, to fix you some chips immediately. Like, this thing is going to be quite a successful and prosperous planet, I would imagine. They can get chips from like loads of places. Although, you know, you need this connection to be made, so that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, there's a bit of a snag here. We don't want to found another planet right now because we're at 15. It's a sort of an excellent moment to spend some time on getting a laboratory up. I just didn't really want to spend the 5 unnecessarily and get nothing for it. And this sort of works. We can get a lot of extra connections that will make more sense later on than they do now, but they still like kind of work right now. I think that's about it though. We'd need 3 more months to connect. So is there a way to do that? I mean, we could do this, right? We'd use our last relay, but I think it's fine to do so. Is it? Like, it would be out of range anyway, right? The thing I'm also considering is, you know, if we're later on going to get things like stream splitting, how can we use that effectively, right? Because like connecting a relay like this and like there is not really going to benefit much from stream splitting at all. Like, we're not really going to be able to do so. Although, you know, if we build a colony there, then eventually this will stream split quite nicely. I guess that's fine. Right, because it has this other colony to send a good to. That's not bad. Now we end up in October, so we end up not paying the 16, right? That was kind of the whole idea. And then we get some more science over here as well. And then, because we have the science, we get the freeze-resistant bots first. And those will enable us to build water in various locations. That's 2 more science as well, right? The only thing is, you know, the lack of chips here. Yeah. I mean, that's good though, right? So, what do we do first? I think water here. It's kind of like 2 ways of making it, right? We'll make things tick. Also, 7 resources for you. Let's go ahead and get that money though. With the water. This makes the Bakar happy and make us some money from that. And then we want to get some humans for this stuff over here. Like, this is sort of the thing we're floating though, like the humans down here. I'm not entirely floating them because, you know, there's quite a bit of good locations around this place. We're being a bit risky with it. Yeah, this is sort of the problem if you get those 2. That's not the ones you want. Not the ones you want. We're going to be floating this for a while. Then, I suppose. Let's have a look at this then. Ooh, yeah, this is not great. Not the best plants we could have gotten. We could also go for solar super instead of for tourism. But you know what? That's not the worst idea. We can fix the stuff with energy. We'll get chips over here. Now we will not get access to tourism ever. So what do we do instead, right? If you don't have access to tourism, what do you do instead? Well, I guess we could do pulse scarcity, right? More effectively without tourism. Because our plants will generate more things as well. So just consuming more things. As well as energy, allowing you to do energy-driven industry, right? And you know, all of this stuff as well. Let's just, you know, that. It makes some sense to do this. And then, you know, we'd use the energy to fix this sort of stuff over here. Yeah, I think it's actually better than xenotourism, even though xenotourism would be kind of neat to do for the late game. We're also looking to, you know, complete this sort of thing, and with energy we can quite easily do so. Like, there's a very simple pathway to doing that mission. Okay, so do we want to spend the month? I think I do. How are you doing? -6%. Ooh, yeah. We need to solve you next year as well. So I guess we'll do so now, because otherwise we would pay the upkeep. Right. And does a trick again, like, you know, this chip over here. We're going to want to rush integrated manufacturing after this, because it's sort of like a tech that will give us a massive amount of benefit. Getting an integrated manufacturing on either this one or that one will create a prosperous planet here and solve two problems at the same time. So yeah, solar super. And then we're probably looking to make more science. Ideally, we have some wealth, but our income's not good. Nanotech unlocks loads of chips, which can be used for the solar farm here. That unlocks energy. I can't solve this with energy, but we can't solve that. There's no other way to solve it. That gets us our tech discount. This one's hard to deal with, though. In multiple senses of the word. It wants to make more, like, I guess 6 more chips, right? 11 more ore. We just made like so much of that, right? And we used the lab already, so I don't know about 11 more ore, right? How are we gonna do that? I guess we establish more trade routes. That's always the thing that seems to be good to do. Let's go ahead and do this water export, I think. It's like two-way trades and all sorts of things here. I would like to build another lab, but we need to make the money for it first. One other thing we could do is get gene adjustment, which gives you like quite some money. There's also gravitic mining available. Again, this is asteroid that's 30, right? There's this one as well. Maybe we go with that instead. It's quite the money spinner. Although we'd need too many techs, right? There's like quite a few areas where we could build laboratory. How to build more laboratory? Oh, that's kind of a problem here. There's no good way of building effective laboratories. More than a few bits of science here and there. Well, no, though. That plant's too good to refuse, I think. As well, you know. Right? Now the thing is, if it had access to food from somewhere, then it could lead to another laboratory quite easily. But it really doesn't. Although, yeah, I guess, right? I don't know what that is as well before we... So one thing, one thing that springs to mind, never mind that whole plan, is sort of this kind of thing. Right, where again, like we use the biometric here, but the thing is we're cutting off the water access, so we can't do the water lab thing, which is kind of the thing I was hoping for to do. On the other hand, are you in range of this? You aren't. That's unfortunate. Because that would have worked excellently. There's also that available. I mean, but it cuts off nearly everything, so there's no point to that either. This guy has a hard time getting food, right? That's the problem. We could do that, which gets us our food. Fine, okay. Then, there's sort of this, which gets us our water, and then we can get a 3 science water lab over here. Which is also neither here nor there, right? It's neither amazing nor incredulous. It's just like okay-ish, right? Not really what we're looking for, though. There's also like a good question of where do we want to build a chip lab, which can be quite good as well for us. Maybe over here, right? Like 2 chips and a human. We can get 2, 3 science labs up, which gets to 13 science, which still isn't really quite where you want to be, right? The goal would be get to 25 or so, right? Within the next 4 years. Which is ambitious, but what you want to get tier 4 tech, right? This 7 science lab's okay, but it could be better. There's very little humans available to it, I suppose, as well. Surprising how many humans you need. There's a couple available here, but no good use for them yet. One way of perhaps trying to make all this sort of stuff better would be to try to do something with infraways. Right? To get more science, that could be a working solution. As well as maybe graphitic mining. And then going for sleep replacement later to sort of make up for the fact that we don't get gene adjustment at all. There's also integrated manufacturing available now, though. That might be a better source of money still. For now we got 100, so we don't need to invest in graphitic mining right away. Why don't I pick this up? Right. Might be able to fix this with like a relay or something. Ramp size increased, which is maybe not the moment for it. We also don't need to do this connection, right? We can make like 3. Oh, we can make a 5 science lab here. Because that's okay. Maybe we don't build this right now. But if we don't, then we don't get the extra human. And I'd kind of muck that up by... we can go to October. Like, we only pay like 10 extra for this, right? I mean, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's better than going for 24. We can't get to October in time is the thing, right? So I might as well found this. We got at least 1 science for this. We're kind of low on money, but sure, we'll keep going. Yeah, the 1 month we're short ends up costing quite a bit because we end up not quite enough science to do integrated manufacturing right now. But we got a prosperous plan for that. We get to solve you as well. You know, we get to like do that sort of thing if I wanted to. I think I'll take... We're level 2, right? Yeah, silted would be nice to get. Like, the idea with the silted would be, of course, we could get integrated manufacturing if we get the chips first, but that's sort of the thing we need to make chips, so sort of a catch-22, right? We would want that first. And I guess the other thing would be like if we did some kind of goods trade here, then we get another two-way trade in. Also, you would also have access to that, so that ain't bad. And it would count for the Euphorian mission, right? The thing is, we're going kind of slowly then, though. Should I be taking more science? I think I should. Like, kind of aggressively, right? So go ahead and do that first. This gives us 36. We kind of will maybe need to do asteroid things first, though. I would imagine so. I don't really want to take them right now, so we'll just have to take the money hit, which is kind of really what I want at this point. That was worth it, I suppose. So what we could do to sort of like stem the tide of money flowing out is to grab both asteroid tags, which makes these asteroids like really valuable, right? I can get 96 from an asteroid. Like that, we suddenly have 105. Which is enough investment capital to keep like building things. Including labs, right? Which would kind of be the thing that we want to do. So we want to get to IM as quick as possible now, which is 26. So that's 2 more years. I suppose the main question will be, where do we build the chip lab, right? There's not many spaces for it that would be very good, though. There's an area over here, for example, where once you get the IM, you can build loads of chip labs, right? But it's getting that first that's the problem. I mean, I suppose a good area for it would be over here, right? You can get a chip, you can get a human, you can get another chip with IM. There's a good like argument to be made to make more chips as well, right? And a good way to get energy to, you know, feed that back as well. And then, yeah, I guess that makes some sense, right? So we would like put that here in order to get access to up to 3 to 4 to 5 chips over the whole course. I mean, knocking off the goods plan is not the greatest, but maybe it'll be fine. Of course, point being, right, that we can connect in more chips. Our money is not the greatest, but, you know, we got these asteroids to exploit to make more. So that's okay. Of course, you know, the goal here would be to try to not attempt to do so to the greatest possible extent. I might want to hold off on this because I might want to use it for you. I'd imagine this is not too bad. Then I mean, guess you're here, right? To sort of like take in some stuff. What are you missing? Like green stuff, right? That's most chips. I guess it would make some sense to do the solar farm now. Right, sort of get the task complete immediately. Let's get quite a good fraction of our chips done with the silted, so that's good. And then, you know, we can get integrated manufacturing, which would be kind of insane for us. Also, you know, these asteroids will allow us to build some integrated manufacturing, right? Like, especially this one's 120 and there's another 90 there. So we have quite a bit of money laying around. The financial situation is not as dire as it seems because we got the asteroid tech. For example, I can take this asteroid here now and then, you know, get another 100 to spend. Okay, we'll be on time with that as well. Plus, you know, we get more people here to use on things. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them, but so let's pre-build a connection. Go, that gets us, you know, 3416, which now we can get integrated manufacturing, which should allow me to do things like make more research for starters. Also, probably this one's for research as well for later. Go ahead and do this. Makes a prosperous planet. Just fixing both of these water worlds for us. I'm fixing quite a few planets right here. Not all of them though. There's quite a few that are still not very happy with this one. I mean, still, it's we're doing okay. Not bleeding too heavily anymore. That's nice. What we do next though is kind of the difficult part. So one thing I could do is just make another chip over here to send into this robot world here. I'm not so sure how useful that is. I mean, we could make more robots, right, and make a robot lab as well. That gets us, you know, 6 more science as well. And 7 more chips. And more two-way trays, I suppose, we can do. So, yeah, we still don't have access to Silthid level 3, nor Bakar level 3, because he keeps wanting to explore to a place that I know it's going to be super far away, so I don't even have to check. One more tech advanced, so you want, you know, flexible fabrication probably, because it's like the most ideal tech for this kind of setup we got going. Giving us access to robots in more locations, right? Is there a good location to a robot laboratory? Because we have access to that particular tech. There are quite a few locations that might be good for it. Where are our goods producing things, right? Those will make robots, like this one and this one, for example, right? Do you have access to here? No, not quite. So, like, we could robot here, robot there, but the problem is, like, it's hard to get to this location. It's kind of, the slipways are kind of in the way. Maybe I shouldn't have done this connection over here, but then again, it makes a prosperous planet, so it's kind of neat to have that early on. This desert won't really be usable. I mean, we might want to just find some stuff in this corner to fix these things here. Especially like a colony down here would probably be necessary anyway. Like this place down here looks like also a good place to try for robots, right? Especially if you could find a colony. But we don't. There just isn't any. Huh. Well, no, that's not true. Or here. I mean, you can make the chip, right? gonna be very expensive to do it that way though. And no real plan of solving things very well. You know, there's that as well, but it won't do anything then at that point. But, you know, that does count, right? And the human can be used to make things as well. I think there's no human here though, so like how is this going to make robots and that going to make robots? It doesn't seem like a good idea, that's my point, right? Flung this also isn't nice. We'll sort of like let it go to -7 and, you know, then plop it in, but this doesn't seem like it would be that amazing at gunning. The thing I'm trying to gun for is getting some more science up before it's too late to really benefit from it. So the idea would be to get, you know, like sleep replacement and post scarcity and perhaps like skill download. But in order to do all that, you would need like 120 something science at a minimum, which, you know, we're barely going to be able to get by the end of the game. In fact, we're still short to get that, right? We're still like gunning for like 170 science at this point, which I mean, that's 115. Actually, that's okay enough to get there, but not really in time, right? I would like to get this a couple years earlier. So making it a little bit more makes sense. Also, you know, empire size expansion, right? Ideally, we actually stick to what we have now and sort of try to, you know, make use of what we have. The thing is, though, is how to do that without, you know, utilizing what we have now to sort of like is there a way we can do this without obstructions and without, you know, like this sort of location over here, right? Oh, that could be like, hold on a second, isn't that kind of amazing? Sure, you're going to be cut off, but do I look like I care? Like, could we make like a lot of robots and things here? If I make this a human planet, right, just for the sake of argument, right, if this were a swamp, yeah, that would be kind of neat, but that would be its source of ore, I suppose, right, and chips then. And then, you know, we could make some goods or robots or what have you. Probably robots, because we're going to make the one good, right? Or goods, whatever you want, I suppose, right? I'd have to think what's better. Maybe goods are better because we could send all the goods into all these like, plants all the time, and that would be kind of great. Because you could make legendaries with that out of the colonies, which do create a lot of humans to make lots of money, I suppose, right? I don't know where the food's coming from, but that's, you know, a later concern. And then we can have 1, 2, 3 flexi-fabbed robot lab. And there's this one as well, right? Which would be, I guess, from here, right? And then, like, I don't know, robots. Or goods, right, as well. Go even crazier with it. And then, you know, we could, like, flexi-fab 4 things. Alright. Let's go collect a bunch of money then, and then use that to sort of fund, like, get a bank, right? Basically. And just bank up. And then we'll go ahead and 269. That should be enough to sort of set all this up in a way that won't break the bank, basically. Right, we got 293. So now we can go ahead and grab, where is it? Flexible fabrication, which unlocks the ability to get lots of robots everywhere. And one of the things we can do with it is sort of like that, which enables a robot laboratory. And it also enables some other things, right? Like this one, for example. Not to forget. And then there's some more stuff we could get. We can get goods here. Pay attention to that one. Nothing much else, but that's fine. So we can do this. What are we doing with all this ore, right? I'll be like, oh, what is he doing with all this ore? Well, let me tell you. We need food here, right? So like, maybe do this. Yeah, okay, so we're making robots here, not goods, because we need like 2 robots now, right? 1 robot for the lab, 1 robot for you. So we'll go ahead and build the jungle farm first because it has a lower upkeep. 1 less, but still. I'm sort of wanting to not go too far into the red. Ideally, we keep above 0 at least. Next year, though, we get access to sleep replacement, so all our money troubles will then be over, miraculously. And then the goal will be to get to infraways and stuff as quickly as possible. So yeah, that helps, right? A little. Okay, so then... We got another 72 here, though. That's fine. Make more humans. Yeah, I mean, bleeding all the money, right? Still, that's okay. That's okay. I think we scan once to save some money. Every penny still counts, right? We're still penny pinching, essentially. Yeah, we got this all connected out, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and look at this. Maybe there's an asteroid. There's not. But there is this, if I wanted. Could be good. For now, though, let's go ahead and permanently fix our money troubles. 127 income, not bad. Alright, that one. I think. No, the other one, right? Well, that would involve this connection. If we can manage to get this before the end of the year, is this kind of the thing, right? The 2 extra science is sort of what I'm aiming for. And then, you know. Also, are we... Ooh, yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? We are 1 month short of being able to get the 2 extra science if we don't want to lose 8 happiness. The thing is, though, is I don't really want to colonize more things. I kind of want to just relay things at this point, I think. Like, this is just a good place for just a relay, and yeah, we'll just solve it later with a relay. We'll bleed the happiness. It's a bit unfortunate, but it's like not really a way. That's the way I want to go, and I want to get, you know, the optimal value out of this sort of shenanigans we're pulling here, because I don't see much use for another robot. Well, I do see a use for more goods, so. This seems like a good way to go. Anyway. Like we're hoping for getting like lots of more techs, right? Especially infraways and all those things would be nice to use to fix things up more. And, you know, we can maybe use them to make more chips and stuff everywhere. More chips and things. don't really know where to use them, but there is a point somewhere. Okay. Go ahead and connect the ruin. Add economic zones to our tech list. Unfortunately, it's too late to pick them up, so we can't use them. We got 152 science, right? Is it enough for a relay, upgrade, relay, and post scarcity? Not quite, right? Like upgrade relay is, I believe it's 62. So it's 101 plus 48. 149. We got 152. Actually, we can get there. This post scarcity lost, right? Okay. A little bit more wouldn't go amiss though, so we get a little bit more quickly. Thankfully, relays do allow us to get like more things out of the labs we already have. Just like via just relaying in more things to places. Hopefully, anyway. So yeah, one thing we can also do is like just recycle this. Oh, it doesn't make that much more money. It only makes one more. So maybe we just do nothing with this and just be like, yeah, we kind of got the wrong thing there. It's always going to be out of range, so it's kind of pointless. I think it's better to go ahead and start building relays everywhere we want them. So like the first one should probably go here. Alright, we're short some money to do so though, like, and some time. So what are the final planets we might want? Are there things we might still want? Oh yeah and no, right? One thing we could do is relay this, right, eventually, and fix that like that. So then, you know, making a robot here makes a lot of sense, so we can make that extra energy for now. So can that robot eventually go into our robot lab? Not really, right? It's far too far away. There's like a bunch of robots over here, and I can't really use them. We could make goods here, but like this requires an infraway as well, right? Though it will be able to do so, right, quite soon. This was a good lab to build. It's not quite enough to make us like super wealthy. There is you, but like how are we gonna get food here, right? I guess maybe from like energy? Like this, right? I'm like looking for opportunities to get some science a little more quickly. Like it should matter though, right? It's like when do we get what, right? So it's going to be 56 minus 39 equals 17, right? 17 and then 24 is 41, and then 60 something, 65. And so it's going to take 3 years before we get infraway. So we get infraway at 3423. So we're going to get a few months of infraway. And infraway is just really the tech that's really making a difference. So for relay by itself, it's okay, but it's not great, right? The hard part's surviving until then. If we could somehow get, you know, Silthid tech discount, that wouldn't help at all, right? Because we don't need more Silthid techs. So, like, what do we do then, right? With our time? It's a good question. I think exploring this might not be a bad idea. It's an asteroid, probably. It's going to be super valuable. Huh. If only I had a little bit more tech, so we could have gotten the relays this year, right? I mean, I don't think it's bad to just get this 4-bear ruin, to be honest. Get a habitat, get money, get other sorts of money. What about a habitat, actually? Is there a good place for one? Like, there could be decent places for one. Like, it needs, I believe it needs food and goods, and it makes humans. So, you know, like if it just sends a human into a lab, that's fine. And or some other places, like here, for example, right? In fact, isn't that the greatest though? Because we can get energy into it instead. And you know, bots can become goods, and that solves everything here. And I think we found ourselves a winner. Right, well, we'll go ahead and make some more science for now. And the idea would be to plonk this down. Right? In range of the thing that, you know, makes bots. The idea would be to send in some bots. We're going to get those from here, right? And then that creates energy. And that energy can go into there. And that creates a human. That human can go into here, which can also make it good to make more humans. So now suddenly we have 3 because of our perk. So we get a human here for you. We can even do that if we want. Or do that. Either way, like, is the science going to be that crucial at this point? I don't know. We're going to get slipstream relay. 62, right? So 45. Maybe we need 17 science to get to 62. I don't think so, right? 4 more years gets us 100 more science. So you end up with 120. 62 and 48 is 110. This is 130. If we can get 10 more science, we would get something for it. I don't know. It seems unlikely to get 10 more right before the end. We'd be able to like sort of like send things to places, but I mean, it might not necessarily be too bad to do this sort of thing, right? Like this can't use its second ore anyway, so it's sort of like a moot point to do that or not do that. Though before I do so, can't we do this? To like get another ruin up? I'm just thinking, right? Like get a free infraway from this. Like an early extra infraway can be quite the thing. Especially if we want to get that, you know, those few points of science to get like energy driven industry up as well still. Like how much are we at now, right? Those 4, like it's like 25, 100, 104 plus 22. 4 more years, right? 104 plus 22. Right. That's sort of the problem, trying to get everything here. I don't think we can get 4 attacks, that's definitely not in the cards. It's like 110, 144, right? For 126. So the difference is what? 18 still then? Like an infraway will help if we can get 2 science out of it. We can only get 1? Not so much. You would need a successful partner, which is hard to get. Like this, right? But everything wants an infraway to become that. That's the thing. And I only have 1 infraway, which I want to use to send a thing into a lab. If we could, right? If we can, we could. I mean, like this, right? The thing also is like, do we have enough money? We'll probably be able to find an asteroid here, as well as there. It's quite likely. There's still one over here as well, for another 72. So that's the thing I gotta pay attention to if we have enough money to do the things I want to do. Is there an easier way? We could get a boat over here, which would be nice. If we had one. We don't. Every boat is already sending in there. Water over here. Ships over here. And ore over there. This one would love to get another ore. Wait, can't we do a regular relay here to make another ore? Oh yeah, that would be the easier solution, wouldn't it? So like the idea would be, and we can also get a stream splitting effect from it as well. That makes, oh, it doesn't make more. Well, it still makes a prosperous planet, right? I think it's still good to do. I don't know if it's good to do now though, but it doesn't make more ore is the thing. A bit sad, right? You can still do integrated manufacturing, I suppose. You can do that one extra export. The problem is that still wouldn't make it prosperous. I mean, it's already sending a thing into the lab, so it doesn't matter, right? It will make the extra ore for this mission, for what it's worth. Or chip or whatever. Chip for that mission. We can also upgrade this thing. Like this. Right. That's number 2. It's not really wants two-way trades. I don't know how we get all of those, but so yeah, I mean, more water there does make some sense, doesn't it? Getting like an infraway a little early, though, might not be worth all that much. Yeah, 104. How much were we missing? 104 and 22, 126. And we wanted 144. So 18 science. Oof, man. Like, this is only 6, right? We need to do it 3 times over. That's the difficult part. Right, can't we do this one? Right? Well, what else would we do with it? Well, you're going to... No, you're not going to pop prosperous with that. That's the annoying part about it. Well, I could send in an extra human if I want to, right? With that sort of thing. Like from here. And I guess I could solve you with an energy. Yeah, and if I do it like so, and then you want the water, and that works too. Then we could sort of do it. Maybe don't go post scarcity. Actually, that might be the solution. We skip on this. Because yeah, we can make some legendaries, maybe, but it's gonna be difficult. It might be a better idea to make everything else prosperous. Because you know, we could have quite a big empire at 39 planets. I don't know. Anyway, out of time, out of money, out of stuff, right? So, like, that allows that to happen. Which is, you know, more of the stuff that we want. And then, you know, we can sort of want to go for that. That don't really help. That's not true. It's one more point here, right? And there's also a thing, like trying to sort of get enough of the ye olde ore for you all the chips to get. Okay, so there's this as well. Right, if I precise enough, we can like do this sort of thing. I wouldn't know where they get the second robot though. That might be difficult. Neither here nor there, right? But also, we wanted to solve this at some point. Might as well do that now too. There's quite a few areas where we could benefit from stream splitting at this point. The thing is, the moment we do so, we lose the access to infraways as quickly. So that might not be the best idea. There's also a good argument to be made for it also costs an extra year, right? Energy-driven industry right now. Like, how much science are we getting at this point? 56, 80, 84 plus 48? It's like 132 in total. So yeah, this is 110, 130, like we could do that, right? But then we can go and get stream splitting, which is kind of awful. Because it does save you a lot of time. And we are planning for it, kind of, sort of. A bit of a haphazard way, but we are still planning for it. I've never planned for it with that sort of thing, but that's okay. I'm planning it like this though. I could do that and toss down another lab, right? Does that help in any way? No, not really, because I already got a lab here. We could also just toss down this ocean planet here. Is that good? No, not really. It's like, is there an area where there's a chronic shortage of a particular type of resource? Not really. I mean, humans over here, I guess. But then this also needs food. I mean, you could get from here, right, with an infraway. What else would the infraway be used for? Water, I suppose, right? Water back there. It gets us food here. We can give it a good. Can we use the humans in a major way? Yeah, pretty much. This area is pretty devoid of humans. Make you successful with it. More importantly, we get another beautiful site, giving us the 2 happiness bonus that makes it kind of worth it. We've got a 40 planets though, so that's a bit of an oof. You might want to actually scout here, see if we can't find that asteroid. Oh, it's actually a... Oh, that's interesting. That's worth connecting, isn't it? Like a ruin like there? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so... Anything else I might want to do? Make chips. Yeah. For this. And then like way too many two-way trades. I mean, there's this one, right, as well. We could make. Sort of send in some more. There really isn't a good way to get the human in there, right? Like this would be so easy, but he's already used up all his humans. I just didn't expect that to happen, right? I mean, it kind of is logical. These things, these small signals can be those. Oh, this one? Not really either, right? Like, are we really abandoning our plan of... I guess we'll scout once. What's the most important location that could be another asteroid? Maybe this one. No, that's not. Alright, well, let's take it on the chin. And we get our infraspace. So yeah, there's only 2 more years with 56 science in total. Well, 70, right? And 70 science ain't enough for everything. We can do these 2 or that. And I think stream splitting might be the, the more advantageous choice for us here. Because it just like makes things so much easier to connect into various places. Alright, so anyway, now that we got that sort of stuff, what do I want to do here? We can make a robot and a good. Right. So we wanted to make one here. Like do that sort of thing. And then you want a water as well. And what else am I going to do with that connection? It's important to reuse them. Right, like this. Prospers that. Okay, so now this needs a bolt from somewhere. Good question. Well, anyway, we're also like finagling with this still as well, which is get a human sent somewhere here as well. There are water shortages in this corner. And there's some here. Quite a bit here actually. So yeah, I might want to get... Might want to get some up there, right? Just in general, just do something like this. We actually can't afford that. I mean, okay, but... Yeah, that's not really what I want, but let's just use up a human, I suppose, right? I'll have to scout. Yeah, not what I want either, right? None of the things that could be asteroids are asteroids, is the problem. It's got 156 more money, but that really isn't quite enough to keep building these things at the pace we're building them. We got stream splitting now. Or I could wait for like, getting 5 or 6 things into places, but I don't think so. It's got to be stream splitting for kind of obvious reasons. Did we need that split there actually? I could have maybe just gone a regular relay there. Anyway, that solves you. We have massive amounts of unemployment everywhere though. 11%. Yeah. Also post shortages, right? Someone has no export too. There's like one planet somewhere without exports. I think it's this one, right? Wish we could solve another 2%. I spotted something I wanted to do here. Can't even remember what it was. Is that something to do with chips from somewhere and then like food from here? And then a human could be sent, I guess, into the lab or something. Well, that would do anything though, so probably would send it somewhere else. Yeah, that creates a prosperous plant there. We're only in June and we're already down to like this little money. That helps a little. I wish there was a good, like, we should have maybe not taken the ruin for money there. Should have maybe just taken it for, what's the other thing we can do with the ruins, right? Makes some more sense, right? Anyway, that one. With these connections, right? Those are so expensive. It's long connections. Already out again. Is there really no good way to make money? Let's scout first, right? Don't spend the 55. All that. See if there really isn't, you know, any form of, I don't know, a ruin, for example, would be very nice. Maybe in this area? Yeah, there's just steady. It's like asteroids and stuff. I would love a forebear ruin that actually gave us some reasonable amount of money, right? Turns out sleep replacement, not enough. Because infraway is too expensive. Also, I can make this connection only 7. That's a good one. Yeah, being at 40 exactly is sort of also, you know, costing us 40 a year. Not the best of results. Anything really else that we could do? Yeah, I should have maybe not built that then, right? Saves us some money. Sure, we can colonize something, right? What's going to be the point of that? I get 206 for the last year, right? Like this. That is a two-way trade. And then, you know, repurposing there is another, like, quite a few things that help. That's extremely cheap for a prosperous plant. Can we do like 2 prosperous plants though? Pretty much, right? 5 out of 7, 3 out of 8. I don't know if we can do all those. There's a really simple way of completing the Silthid mission though, which is just in the final month build a nanotech factory, so that's fine. It's okay. I wanted to sort of like deal with this as well. It's also expensive, these methods to do it, but this does work. The idea would be we send it out. That seems like it's worth doing though. And one more, right? More prosperous everywhere. Like we finally get some income now, but if we're like 1 year late, this whole mission, this whole sort of campaign, right? 1 more year and you can get like post scarcity and stuff. Does this actually lower our happiness in various ways? Yeah, from colonies being like, there's like a colony getting energy somewhere, like this one probably maybe. I mean, would that would create another prosperous very easily. Also, we get more chips that way. Still one short though, of course. Can't be that easy. Like which colony actually has energy? There's one somewhere. Oh, down here, right. Right. We can't really do anything with it though. Infraways everywhere. It's like that stuff, right? We could do. There must be something better though we can do with our money. Something that's a little bit more efficient. Hard to tell though. Turns out, right, that high birth rate is typically not to your advantage. Like as a matter of fact, it's cost us 4 happiness, right? Or 5 happiness, really. Like sure, we used all these up, but like not really to a hugely profitable extent, I would imagine. So it's not actually an advantage at all. It sort of harms you more than it helps you. We are Malthusians. So yeah, I mean the goal would be to get 1 more chip, so we do that, and then, you know, we can't get this. This is a stupidly hard mission to do anyway, though. I was going to lie and still, you know, get prosperous plants and all that. Maybe we should have refused and delayed, but then we couldn't have done this one, so. Alright. You know what? That's not half bad for, you know, how much we struggled. We couldn't quite get to post-scarcity in time. It took quite a bit too much building, right, to sort of get the science going. The center was devoid of most things. And we couldn't get the early xenotourism going either. It was a good spot for it, but it's like we kind of needed to get the solar superconductors and then the money. Well, we got a few years in the middle where things seemed to be going fine. But, you know, near the end we realized, oh, wait, yeah, our science is not quite cutting it, right? And then the other game, I didn't really think we had much in the way of extra money to be gotten. So it was kind of a bit of a struggle. And that's what Tough's all about, right? So this was interesting, though. Right?